first day of testimony in Sean Diddy Combs' federal crimes trial. After seating a jury of 8 men and 4 women, the prosecution delivered its opening statement, and they came out swinging.
I am a musician. I don't sample, you know. It's not Memorex. I go on stage and my microphone is on.
So let me tell you, just when we thought Diddy's trial couldn't get any crazier, boom, Prince's name pops up. And that was not on anyone's 2025 bingo card. We all knew Diddy threw wild parties, but according to Jason Lee, one of the most legendary ones happened at Prince's house.
It's a real one. Prince did not with Diddy. We went to Prince Club one day, and Prince was sitting right there, and Diddy was coming up to meet him. Prince got up and walked out his own club.
Now, unlike Jamie Foxx or any other celebrity party scene, there was one strict Diddy rule: no personal security allowed inside. But here's where it gets juicy. What if the purple one had cameras secretly recording everything? You know, Prince, private, mysterious, always one step ahead. Some folks are whispering that he might have had dirt on everyone and either kept it tucked away or handed it off before he passed. And now, there's talk that his name could surface in court. And it doesn't stop there. The jury pool already has some surprise guests: Michelle Williams, Robert Downey Jr., Mike Myers, and Lauren London. Like, who? But then you've got the usual victims, like Cassie Ventura. This was given since she was the first to sue and claimed Diddy's own staff witnessed some crazy stuff, but kept quiet. They were even the ones delivering gifts after DV incidents and setting up those infamous freak-offs hotel suites, complete with baby oil and Astroglide. Yeah, this trial is about to spill every secret, and trust me, you do not want to miss it.
She said a lot yesterday that sets them up for the landing. They just haven't landed the plane. And I think that if anything, you walked away believing that this woman could have been taken advantage of.
It's only day 2, y'all. But they also said people were leaving during, then people were snapping and sleeping. Was that
people
true as well?
felt like the prosecution was taking too long to get to gut punch. That's how people felt, because they spent so much time on their history, on why she didn't do this. They kept asking her a lot of the same questions about the they were taking. But what I think that the prosecution was building is they were building character around this witness.
Now let's get into the messy, shocking, and downright spine-chilling part of this unfolding courtroom drama. We already knew Cassie's lawsuit was packed with disturbing claims, but one moment that really stuck with people was when she said that after one brutal incident, both Diddy's head of security and his assistant saw her, and they literally broke down in tears. That moment says a lot. These weren't just bystanders, they were witnesses to something so horrific it moved grown men to cry. So it's no surprise that a lot of these staff members are expected to be called in to testify. And guess who else made the list? Harve Pierre, a longtime associate of Diddy, was implicated in a separate lawsuit by a Jane Doe who accused him of luring her from Detroit to New Jersey, where she was allegedly essayed by both Harve and Diddy. These allegations are explosive, and Harve's name showing up in the jury selection is raising eyebrows all over. But it doesn't end there. Young Miami, yes, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, was also mentioned, not just for being romantically linked to Diddy, but allegedly for being on his payroll and potentially even acting as a transporter for certain substances, if you know what I mean. Her involvement is murky, but it's enough for her to be named in this circus of a jury process. Then there's Dallas Austin, a legendary producer who many might recognize for his contributions to music, but in this context, it's his connection to Kim Porter, Diddy's late ex, and the mother of his children that's drawing attention. Kim's sudden and suspicious passing has long been the subject of speculation, and with Dallas being a childhood friend of hers, people are wondering if he might be called to shed light on that part of Diddy's past too. And let's talk about Lorraine Gibson. You might remember her from Making the Band, but back in 2007, she actually filed a police complaint claiming Diddy threatened her with a chair on set. Yes, you heard that right, a chair. Her name in the mix adds another layer to the long-standing accusations of aggressive behavior behind the scenes. And then there's Aubrey O'Day, also from Danity Kane, who's been loud and clear about her support for Cassie. Aubrey has openly accused Diddy of inappropriate behavior towards her too, and she's not backing down. Another Danity Kane member, Dawn Richard, is in the spotlight too. She previously sued Diddy, accusing him of SA, and detailed how he would degrade the female contestants on the show. According to her, he once forced her to rehearse music for hours with no sleep and took advantage of her. She also said she witnessed him getting physical with Cassie, while under the influence. Even Michael B. Jordan's name popped up. Now, he wasn't accused of anything, but his name was mentioned in Cassie's lawsuit because of a rumored flirtation in 2015. And that might seem random until you remember what happened with Kid Cudi. This is where things take a darker turn. Cassie claimed that during a rough patch in her relationship with Diddy in 2011, she had a brief fling with Kid Cudi. When Diddy found out, by going through her emails no less, he reportedly became so enraged that he vowed to blow up Cudi's car. And then, the car did blow up, right there in Kid Cudi's driveway. The lawsuit even claimed Diddy wanted to make sure Cudi was at home at the time. That alone was chilling.
Get into Kid Cudi because she was dating Kid Cudi at one point. And, you know, there are all sorts of stories that Kid Cudi's car blew up, and it was Diddy that had one of his goons go out and blow it up. And they got into this, and they talked about it. She never delivered the knockout blow and said, and Diddy told me that he did it. But they reference blowing up Kid Cudi's car, but she never says he.
Now, as wild and terrifying as all that sounds, the name that nobody expected to come up was Prince. Yes, the Prince, the music legend himself. We all knew Diddy used Prince's house for his infamous parties, but now there's speculation that Prince might have been quietly recording everything that went down. Prince was known for being extremely private and calculating, so it wouldn't be that surprising if he had surveillance footage of what happened in his own home. And the real kicker? Some folks believe Prince may have held on to those tapes or handed them off before he died. Which leads to even more questions. Could those tapes hold the kind of evidence that would blow this trial wide open? Could Prince's mysterious passing somehow be connected to all of this? There's a chilling theory floating around that Prince knew the end was near. He even posted a haunting photo of himself shortly before his passing with a cryptic caption that was later deleted.
Became such a big deal back then is ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise. And they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair.
During his final appearance at a party held at his own Paisley Park estate, fresh off a reported hospital visit for flu-like symptoms, Prince made a haunting statement to his guests. Wait a few days before you waste any prayers. At that time, most people brushed it off as cryptic Prince being, well, Prince. But then, in a twist straight out of a thriller, he was found unresponsive just days later in an elevator inside his home. He was pronounced dead at the age of 57. Authorities later ruled his demise an accidental overdose, saying Prince had unknowingly taken counterfeit Vicodin pills laced with fentanyl, a synthetic opioid so potent, just a speck can be lethal. But this official story never sat right with many of his fans, friends, and those who knew him best. After all, Prince wasn't just any rock star. He was a clean-living, intensely private, deeply spiritual individual, a devoted vegan. He abstained from alcohol, avoided illegal substances, and was known for his commitment to wellness, even working out regularly despite chronic hip pain from years of intense performances. So how does someone so conscious about his health end up dying from a substance overdose? That's where the real questions begin. You see, Prince wasn't just an artist, he was a fighter, a warrior for artistic independence, and a fearless challenger of the music industry machine. In the years leading up to his demise, Prince was embroiled in fierce battles over the rights to his music, his name, and his legacy. He was notorious for calling out record labels for exploiting artists and stripping them of control of their own work. His war with Warner Brothers in particular is the stuff of legend. Prince was first signed to Warner in 1977 at just 18 years old. Though his early albums didn't explode commercially, he was seen as a rare gem, an innovative talent worth nurturing. Warner invested in him long term, and by the early 80s, Prince had cemented himself as a rising star. In 1982, just a year after the birth of MTV, Prince broke into the U.S. top 10 and helped usher in a new era of visual-driven music marketing. He knew how to use music videos to build not just a fan base, but a cultural mythos. By 1984, with the release of Purple Rain, Prince wasn't just a star, he was an icon. His style, his swagger, his unapologetic uniqueness inspired legions, and some insiders believe is that Prince paid the ultimate price for his rebellion. They argue that his passing was not an accident at all, but a calculated...
Diddy 2 or 3 times. he was always like quite quietly spoken, polite, charming. I mean, he obviously was a chameleon character from what we're now reading about him, but you worked with him. Was this all a facade? You know, could he turn on the charm and the respectful politeness when he wanted to, and actually also be...
When my show, when the Jason Lee show aired, it first aired on the Revolt Network, so that was the extent of our relationship. Let's be clear, I wasn't close to him, I wasn't a friend of his, and anything we talked about was related to the show. But I told a story some time ago about when I was at his birthday party, and I was taking a picture in the foyer, and he walked in, and I said, "Hey, do you want to get in the picture?" And he, as he was walking over, he was saying something like, you know, "You better not ever F with me."
And all the while, there were rumors. Let that sink in. Diddy, who Prince allegedly tried to avoid, was going into business with the very machine Prince had spent decades trying to dismantle. Diddy even publicly praised the deal, saying it gave Bad Boy the right financial structure and the right partners to dominate the music industry. Could that have put them on a collision course? Some believe Prince knew what was happening. Prince told her he was in trouble, that he didn't feel safe. And yes, while their relationship had been rocky over the years, she said they were close. Very close. In fact, she credits him with saving her life, helping her get into rehab when she had struggled with addiction after their father passed away. If Prince was reaching out to her, sounding scared, just days before his demise, that's not a coincidence. That's a cry for help. In fact, when Prince realized that it was almost the end of the road for him, he quietly began preparing Tika, his sister, for what was coming. And according to her, that preparation didn't happen overnight. It took 2 years. It wasn't hard at all, she said in an interview. It was a 2-second phone call. He's gone. I had been preparing for 2 years, so I knew that it was coming. Let that sink in. Prince told her it was coming. As for Diddy's trial last week, things got real and fast. The courtroom wasn't just tense, it was thick with years of secrets finally being dragged into the light. And at the center of it all, Cassie Ventura. Cassie's cross-examination was brutal. The defense didn't hold back. They came armed with text, photos, and every bit of Cassie's past they could find. They painted her as jealous, vindictive, even manipulative. They questioned her credibility, her motives, her relationship choices. They brought up her past substance use, her decision to stay with Diddy for years despite the alleged mistreatment, and even accused her of using her trauma for attention or money. But Cassie didn't fold. She faced those questions with a calm that was honestly impressive. She admitted to past struggles, yes. She used substances, yes. She stayed with Diddy far longer than she should have. But her reasons? Fear, power, control. She said it wasn't just love, it was trauma bonding, manipulation, isolation. She even spoke about how Diddy would make her feel like he was the only person who would ever love or protect her, while also being the one who hurt her. One of the most shocking moments, when the defense revealed text messages between Cassie and Diddy that seemed affectionate, even flirtatious, after some of the alleged SA took place. But Cassie responded with something powerful. Trauma doesn't come with a guidebook. Survivors don't always walk away clean. Sometimes we go back. Sometimes we pretend to be okay just to survive. She also opened up about her journey after leaving Diddy, the therapy, the emotional toll, and her relationship with her now husband, Alex Fine. There was even a moment where the court was shown an unanswered FaceTime call from Alex during what Cassie described as a terrifying night. She said she wanted to escape. She was scared. That moment hit hard. And let's not forget the outside noise. Literally, protesters and fans clashed outside the courthouse, with some throwing eggs at Cassie's security team. There were signs defending Diddy, others condemning him. Some people screamed that Cassie was lying, while others chanted her name in support. The chaos wasn't just inside the courtroom, it was spilling onto the streets. This trial isn't just about Diddy and Cassie. It's about fame, power, control, and how hard it is for women, especially black women in the music industry, to speak up. When you're involved with someone as powerful as Diddy, walking away isn't just about leaving a relationship. It's about risking your career, your safety, your reputation. Diddy's team is doing everything they can to poke holes in her story. But Cassie's words, her truth, resonated with a lot of people watching. This isn't just drama. This is a woman laying her soul bare in front of the world. So what now? The case is far from over. More witnesses are expected to testify. More evidence could surface. And the court of public opinion? Oh, it's buzzing louder than ever. What do you believe? Is Cassie telling the truth? Is Diddy being falsely accused? Or is this one of those situations where the truth is messier than any of us expected? Let me know in the comments. Seriously, I want to hear from you. Do you believe Cassie? Do you think the defense is twisting the narrative? And what about those affectionate texts? Do they change how you see things? If you're following this case closely, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this story is only getting bigger. We've got more updates coming, more courtroom drama, more testimony, and probably even more surprises.